in my mind, I'm still that skinny girl that's constantly wanting to be bigger. But then now that wanting to be bigger has now been fused with like the current social climate of bodies, and I'm like, oh, you know, I want to be bigger, but my waist needs to be like pin. Hey guys, it's Layla. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm just gonna dive right into the Q&A questions that you had for me in my 2019 vision video, Layla's Pieces. If you haven't watched that video, do check it out. I'll link it here, or I think it's here. I'm not sure. I've moved positions from where I usually film, and it's usually there, I think. It'll be here. It'll be somewhere there. Anyway, go check it out. I'm going to dive right into your questions. First question comes from Letty Lopez. I've always wondered why I deep condition my hair before I shampoo instead of after, especially with my DIY videos and specifically my Ayurvedic hair care. The reason I deep condition before I shampoo, and I do have a video explaining why, I should have a video explaining why, so I'll link that there, but just in brief, I find it that it is more conducive to my way of washing my hair. It's more conducive to the process and my regimen if I deep condition beforehand. Also, on one principle, whether scientifically proven or not, in my mind, what it is that my hair has absorbed less water at that point. There's less water molecules kind of filling the shaft of the hair, which means there's more room for my hair to take in more nutrients and stuff like that, which will penetrate and go through like the cortex and stuff. So that's why I like to do that, and then I shampoo to get rid of whatever is sitting on the surface on the hair. But following that, I always finger detangle with conditioner, so that's why it's more conducive for me to do it the other way around. So I will always end with a conditioning finger detangle. The only time I don't do that is when I clay wash. And yeah, just like my alternative wash days, if I'm doing a clay wash, I will always do my whatever deep conditioning treatment. You can call it deep conditioning / pre-poo, because technically it's a pre-shampoo or pre-cleansing process that I like to do. And that's my main reason for doing that. It is much more conducive. If your regimen is anything like mine, or if you've seen any of my regimen videos, you will see it's just a logical process for me to align it that way. And I also believe that there's more benefits for my hair in terms of absorbing nutrients from deep conditioners if I do it the other way around. Fusion of Cultures. My hair must be chemically damaged from colouring because the texture has totally changed, and now I'm experiencing some thinning. What should I do to combat that and strengthen my tresses that I have left? So all chemical processes do run the risk of damaging your hair on a... something in my eye. Okay, so all chemical treatments damage your hair, regardless of whether they are super strong or not strong at all. Even a colour process can damage your hair, and sometimes that damage is not damage that you can see on like a surface level just looking at the person, but on a molecular level, on a structural level, that's how chemical processes work. They work by altering your hair. Once your hair is altered, then technically it is damaged. What you need to do is, depending on how damaged your hair is, you really have to start again. There's no two ways about it. So what you can do is you can grow your hair out and slowly cut your color off, but in that process it's really important that you strengthen your hair. Make sure you're doing your protein treatments. Protein and moisture balance is essential. The protein will keep your hair nice and strong, and it will keep your elasticity in your hair, and the moisture will balance out the dryness that you have from that harsh color process, where your strands, the fibers of your strands, are literally like worn out. So if you think of your hair like a piece of tapestry that has been woven, virgin hair is that fresh tapestry, freshly woven, and then over time it's, you know, it's been like hanging on a wall or it's on the floor and everyone's walking over it. That's manipulation that's constantly happening. So it starts to have wear and tear on it. But where you've had a chemical process, it's literally like you've taken a brush and you just been sweeping over, you've ripped the fibers of the hair, so it becomes prone to dryness and breakage, and that's why there's no fixing it. All you can do is maintain it to a level where you're able to keep it whilst you slowly grow it out and cut it off. So that is what I'm going to say to you. You have to grow it out. It's like people that color their hair or they lighten their hair and then they realize that it's damaged, so they dye it back black. Dyeing it back black doesn't actually stop the fact, or it doesn't turn back time. Your hair's still technically damaged beyond repair and it needs to be slowly cut off. What was the process like to starting your business? Did you have to save up a lot of money to start? And with this being the era of social media, do you think having a personal platform is important to market your product or services? The process for me was a much longer journey than it would be for someone who doesn't necessarily decide to go down the route that I went down. So Wild Seed Botanicals is an all-natural skin food brand, and it is raw, vegan, and it is handmade. So all my formulations are by myself. All the products are either made by me or my assistant, a combination of the two, or my mum, or my boyfriend, who is more of an assistant than not really hands-on. Just ignore that one. So I went down the very difficult route, which meant that I had to formulate these products. They went through years of trial and error. They went through years of testing, until I finally got them to what I wanted them to be and the efficacy that I wanted them to have. And then on top of that, being in the EU, I had to then go through to make sure that they were EU certified, EU ready, listed on the EU cosmetic database, and none of that was cheap, and none of that was quick and easy. And then on top of that, I also took on building the website myself. I also took on doing the branding myself, doing like the labeling, everything that you see about the brand is literally by me. So I took on a lot of the work because I had a very clear vision of what I wanted, and I felt like the best person to achieve that vision was myself. And then more importantly, in order to bring on someone who could understand my vision as well as I did, I would need a lot of money, which I didn't want to pay, because I didn't want to. But however, that being said, that journey took me like 4 years to get to launch. However, if you are interested in having like your own skincare, hair care brand or whatever, you can pay someone to formulate products for you. You can pay someone else to make those products for you. You can also pay for someone to build your website. You can pay for someone to do your labeling and packaging. And all you have to do is just be like, hi, this is mine, because you've paid for it. It's like your weave, you paid for it, so it's yours, right? So those are the two approaches. So there's the companies where, you know, you have the money and you want to put something out, you have an idea of what you want it to be. You can just be like, I want a detangling product, I want a super moisture product, and I want like a super sealant. And you can pay someone to come up with those formulations to make sure they work. You can pay someone to make sure that you're EU compliant. You can pay someone to do all of those things, and your journey to launch will be much quicker and simpler perhaps than mine has been. But then this is like a passion project for me. It's a passion thing. It's something I enjoy doing. So that's the route that I wanted to go. It's very important to me that I went down that route. So yeah. The second part of your question is, did I have to save up a lot of money? So most of you will know, and thanks to most of you, I started selling my shea butter on Etsy like years ago whilst I was in uni, a really long time ago. And that whole story, actually, what happened is that I shared this video on my DIY shea butter mix, and then I just expected everyone to go off and make your own. But then people were like, oh sis, I beg, please, I don't want to make it, I don't got time, please sell it to me. And I was like, no, the video is right there, go check it out. and people were really persistent. So like a year went by, I still wasn't going to sell it or make it. And then eventually I was like, okay, do you know what, it's fine, I'll do it. So then I started doing it on like an ad hoc, like someone would request it, then I'd make it, and then they could buy it through Etsy. And then it just got to a point where people kept visiting the Etsy page, so I would just make it and just stock it there, people could buy it. And I did that for years. So that whole period, right up until I even launched last year, I was selling my shea butter on Etsy, and I never actually used that money. I never used that as personal money. I never spent it. I never did anything with it. It was literally just there. I would just use it to buy ingredients to make stuff, or buy equipment to make stuff, and then it was all just sat there. So that is actually the majority of the money. I would say about 90% of the money that I used to get to launch and to pay for things, to pay for testing, my like ordering things, building, like everything. That's the money I used. At the time, I also worked as an account manager in a digital marketing agency where I made a nice living, which sometimes I miss because the money was so good. But so then I could afford to like buy certain things that I wanted like straight away because I had the money. I had the disposable income. So for me, that's how I did it. But you start small. Like I said, if you're starting out like me, where I have a very hands-on approach with the brand, then I didn't need £1 million to get started. But then if you are going in big and you're having people do everything for you, then you would need more money to start out than I did. I prefer my approach because it sits better with my spirit in terms of what I'm trying to create and my future goals and visions. But you don't have to be a formulator to have like a skincare or hair care brand. You can just pay someone to do it for you. Okay, so one of you wants to know what my job is. So like I just said, I used to work as a digital marketing account manager, and now I pretty much do Wild Seed. So Wild Seed is my job. My job is founder, director, CEO, formulator, alchemist, marketing, distributor, cleaner. My job is a long list of things, but that is my job. That's what I do. And then of course I do YouTube on the side, but it's not really the side because it still brings me income. So but Wild Seed is my job. I'm a small business owner, okay, so address me as such. Thank you. I'm kidding. Would really like to have a hair regimen laid out week by week, such as how often I should do protein treatment, use a blow dryer / flat iron, use clay washes, deep condition, moisturize, LCO, co-wash, using a clarifying shampoo, trim or dust my ends. These are all things I do regularly, but I don't feel like I'm doing it right, so please help. That sounds like a really good video idea, and I'm definitely happy to do that, but I will let you know that, sorry, I don't like lint flying around in my peripheral. I will let you guys know there's actually no right way and there's no wrong way. My way is not the right way. Another YouTuber's way is not the right way. There's no right and wrong. There's literally what works for you. So I'll definitely do that video and I'll lay out how I do it, and then perhaps you could try it, and if it works for you, then it works for you. Or you could modify it to fit your lifestyle, which is the most important thing. Consistency is key when it comes to your hair care. However, it's very hard to be consistent if what you're doing does not work with your lifestyle. So those two literally work in tangent. Without a regimen that works with your lifestyle, it is impossible to be consistent, okay? So Sasha Romy wants to know, are you happy right now in life? You seem sad. I don't know, I mean, if you were asking me I seem sad in relation to that video that I made while I was recovering from the flu, then I guess you're probably talking about energy levels. Like, I wasn't feeling well, so maybe my energy level was low. But I can tell you, I am happy is not the word to describe the place that I am in life right now, but joy reigns abundantly in my life. I have, what's the word I'm looking for? I have transcended happiness into joy, and I reside in joy. So there are not many situations that can actually like dampen my mood. Obviously I'm human, so if I don't feel well, then my energy is low, or you know, something could upset me and stuff like that. But in terms of like having actual joy and living from a place of joy, I'm the happiest I've ever been, because I understand so many things now. I understand how life works a bit more. I understand my purpose. I understand who I am and what I was placed here for. I understand that much more. And I think the more that you grow and the more that you have a better understanding, it's easier to live and come from a place of joy, because you're no longer searching or pursuing happiness, because you understand that happiness is fleeting. Happiness is momentarily. Happiness is based on your emotions. Joy transcends all of that. So I can still have joy while my mom has just been diagnosed with breast cancer, because I understand that there is purpose in everything. As sad as the situation is, it doesn't dampen my joy, because I know that there's greater purpose in everything that happens. So that definitely comes with age. So just because I come and make a video, and in that video I'm not like, hi guys, it's Layla, all that rubbish, it doesn't mean I'm not happy. It just means I don't got time for all of that, and it's not me. And sometimes I am literally on a high when I'm making a video, because that's just life. And then sometimes I'm a bit tired, so I'm a bit reserved, and that's just me. I can't come and turn on like this. I'm not a switch. I'm human. I'm just like you. So my energy or my mood that day, or my energy levels, will reflect in my videos. But know that I am definitely not sad. Like I said, I'm in the best place that I've ever been, and it's quite exciting that this is happening for me on the verge or on the clasp of 30, because it's amazing. Sorry, my voice is still not 100%. So, Amabuachi says, Afishapa, my question is that I heard you say boyfriend in one of your recent videos. I thought I was mistaken, but if you are dating someone, I'd love to know how you are navigating dating and upholding Christian principles. I am dating and could use some tips on how to prepare myself for marriage, whether single or dating. Love your channel. Okay. Do you know what has made it really easy? Is the fact that so I've been going to my church since I was 8 years old. So for as long as I've been in this country, I've been in that church. So a really long time. And I had always said that I definitely was not going to date anybody in my church or get with anyone in my church. I was really adamant about this. However, as luck would have it, I've actually ended up with someone that goes to my church. It was not planned. It was really kind of like came out of nowhere. Even up until this day, I still say to him, I'm like, you're lucky. I mean, either way you're lucky, but just letting you know that you're real lucky. But actually going out with someone that comes from my church has made it much more easy. I haven't had to be like as on my toes as I would have in previous relationships, when you're dating people that are either like they're Christian but they're not like church Christian, if you know what I mean. Like there's a difference. I mean, you can be Christian and then there's like the having a relationship with God. So for me, yes, I'm Christian, but that's the religion aspect of things. For me, what overrides that is my personal relationship with God. So that is like above anything else. Like that is the main thing, is that I have a personal relationship with God. The religion thing or the Christian thing is just, you know, the byproduct of that relationship. And a lot of the time you can meet people that are Christians, but you know that it's not a byproduct of them having that relationship. It's just that they are Christians. But yeah, being in a church with someone that you're actually dating, there's so much accountability around you that you can't even put your foot wrong. And also you're just more relaxed, which is how I feel. It's like we both go to church, we both hear the same sermons, we've both grown up in this church, so we both understand what is expected of you in a relationship. It's just so much easier. But what I will say to you is like try and pray together, which is what I try to do. I mean, we have not mastered it yet because life, but if you become more intentional about praying together, you will start to hold each other more accountable. and you be more aware of certain behaviors and how to conduct yourself and stuff like that. But I definitely champion praying together. Like, it's so important. And back to the Bible app, there's actually there's a devotional about praying together, like couples praying together. That's a really good one that you should check out. If you don't have the app, get it. They're not paying me, but it's such a good, it's honestly, it's like such an encompassing app. Like, you need it. Question: do I have any health body goals for the year? Body goals, last year I was going crazy in the gym. Like, I think at one point I was even posting stuff on Instagram, on my stories, because I'm not that girl to be posting it on my actual page or whatever, because I'm nobody's body goals. But I was just going really hard, and it was a positive thing. But then I also found myself being like so critical of the way I looked, and it just doesn't make sense, because naturally I'm like slim. I've always been naturally slim. If you've been watching me from like 19 Kojohoho, then you literally know, like, I was a little bit, like, I was so tiny, and I'm still tiny. I'm not big or anything, but obviously with age your fat distribution changes and stuff like that. But I still find that I'm still that skinny, like, in my mind I'm still that skinny girl that's constantly wanting to be bigger. But then now that wanting to be bigger has now been fused with like the current social climate of bodies, and I'm like, oh, you know, I want to be bigger, but my waist needs to be like pin. I want my waist to be like this, and then I want my thighs to be like this, and then I'm like, oh, I need boobs, I need this. And it's like I was working in the gym and I couldn't appreciate what I was achieving because it still wasn't enough. So this year, like, I'm not doing that. This year I'm like, I want to embrace my body for what it is. So of course I'm going to be working out and all that stuff, but I'm not giving myself the pressure of fitting into some mold, whether it's a societal mold or whether it's this psychological mold or issue that I have in my mind about my size. And I think I've spoken about it in previous videos, but growing up I really had a big issue with being skinny. It was something that really affected my confidence. I felt inadequate as a black girl because, you know, back in the day we had the video girls and stuff like that, and I just felt like every black girl was meant to be like this, and I just didn't feel like I fit in that mold, and it really affected me. Like, I used to cry about it at night, I used to pray about it and all this stuff, and then I had this stage of like this dramatic weight gain where I think I went from like 6.5 stones to 9 stones, and it was just too much for my body at the time. I just looked big. People would ask me if I was pregnant. It was just really awkward. And now I'm still like, I'm like 9.5 stones, but I don't look as big as I did when I was 9 stones previously, which is odd. But then it's just weight distribution or fat distribution as I'm getting older. But I'm still, you know, there's too many factors in my mind that can actually, like, self-talk can really affect your quality of life. And I really don't want that issue. This year I don't want to be this body focused person. I really just want to learn to love, like, my hard bits and my soft bits, my flat bits and my sticky out bits, whilst being healthy. So I mean, when it comes to my diet, I'm pretty healthy. I eat well. I'm predominantly plant-based, even though I'm pescatarian. So yeah, that's the body goals. It's more of psychological goals. I'm just trying to have a year of embracing myself. Like, my boyfriend always laughs at me because I'm either complaining that I've gained weight or I'm complaining that I'm wasting away. And that's literally my term. I'm like, oh, I'm wasting away. Oh no, my belly looks big. Like, if it's not my belly looks big, then it's I'm wasting away. And I need to just move away from that mentality that I have when it comes to self-image, because it might be okay now, but it could turn into an issue. Like, I don't want to have kids, and then obviously once you have a child, your body goes through so many changes. So on top of having to deal with those changes, I now also have the voice in the back of my head that's like, meh, you know. So I just want a year of like loving myself as I am, without imposing anything on me. So that's all. Okay, so there's a few parts to this question, so I'll answer it bit by bit. And then I think I have to leave because I was supposed to meet someone at 1 and it's now 12 something, so I'm late. I'm very late. I'm black people time. I'm African whole party late. That's a whole different level. Black people late or black people time has not got anything on African whole party late. So alright, what was the starting up your business? What were the decisions that you had to take in terms of branding and capital? So I think I've almost covered this already. The decision on capital, I knew that I didn't want anyone else's money, because the main reason I didn't want anyone else's money, aside from the fact that I could actually fund it, I was able to fund it, so, but I could have actually obviously taken more money. The more money you have, the better your launch pad. Money, cash is king. So but I knew that I had enough that I would actually be okay to just have, you know, just a humble launch, just humble beginnings. So I went with that. But also at the same time, I didn't want the responsibility of having someone's money. As much as, you know, I believe in the vision and stuff like that, I just didn't want the added pressure. It's not that I don't think I could make their money back. It's just that I didn't want the added pressure of knowing that, oh God, like, you know, so-and-so's money. Like, I just didn't want that, because I knew it was going to be a stressful period starting out anyway. So that was my reasoning behind that. In terms of branding, everything, like I said, I designed everything, like everything was done by me. And it helped because of course I had the experience to do stuff like that. Also, I worked in digital for a really long time. I worked in marketing. I understood certain principles, which allowed me to have a very, very clear vision of what I wanted my brand to communicate. And I feel like if you go to if you haven't been to my website, please go and check out wildseedbotanicals.com. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's at wildseedbotanicals. Please check it out. I currently have a giveaway, which will still be running once this video is up. So go enter for a chance to win. I'm celebrating 1 whole year, which is amazing. But what was I saying? Yes. So it allowed me to have this clear vision of what I wanted the brand to be, what I wanted to stand for, and how I wanted to communicate that. So I think when you look across, there's a lot of symbiosis when it comes to the overall branding on everything. It speaks very clearly on who we are, what we stand for, and that comes across whether you buy something and you receive that package. Like, everything is very clear, and I wanted it to be very clear from the very beginning. I didn't want to start and then try and like work out where I'm going. I wanted it to be a very confident brand that comes across confident, it comes across ballsy, it knows what it wants, it knows what it stands for, it's black owned, it has particular attention towards issues that black women face. And even though it can be used by everybody, I have customers of all colors. Like, I even have, like, you know, Asian customers, but it's specifically formulated by a black woman for black women, and I wanted that to come across. So you see that, you know, I'm very bold with the blackness, but it still fits in with the whole ethos of the brand very, very naturally. And that's a decision that you'd have to make very early on, which I feel like a lot of brands don't straight away, especially a lot of like small startups, like people like me that are starting out, who don't have money. If you have money, someone will tell you all this and you'll be good. So do I make adverts on my products? I do have an Instagram page, by the way, so if you go over and follow it, so sometimes I will boost a post or something, but I haven't actually had time to look into advertising properly, even though I know how to do it. It used to be my job. I used to do social ads for clients, but the landscape is consistently changing, and if I want to do it efficiently and not waste money, then I need to bring on board someone who understands the current landscape, which I don't, because I've been out of the game for too long. So yeah, that's another layer moving into this year that I'll be looking at. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it there because my friend has just messaged me to say just checking in because she's waiting for me. But yeah, anyway, I hope these questions answer some of your questions. I hope these answers answer some of your questions. I think the best way to probably do this is like a live, and I'll pick up from where I left off. So let me know if you'd like me to do a live. I'll put one of those multiple choice things or whatever. Let me know if you guys would like a live, and then I'll follow up with what time you think I should do it or something. I don't know. We'll work it out, but it would be nice to do a live. I haven't done one in a really long time, and then I can be a bit more relaxed and answer your questions and not be so wary about me over talking, which is what I've been doing this whole time because I talk too much. So anywho, God bless you all. Mwah.